guys, I'm Kamen Rider Silver, and today we are back with another figure review. Today we have the SH MonsterArts Godzilla x Kong The New Empire Skar King figure. But this is a bootleg. Look at this box. Yep, there's a bootleg now of the SH MonsterArts Skar King figure. I saw it on AliExpress, and I figured, you know what, I'm not going to get it. I didn't feel like being the guinea pig this time for another bootleg just to get scammed. I'm okay with getting scammed once in a while here and there for the review, but I wanted to see someone else get this, and one of my friends did get it, and it turned out pretty okay. So I said, fine, I'll go and buy myself a bootleg Skar King. Look at this box. Look at those images. Look how look how squished they are. What is going on here? Anytime I get a bootleg SH MonsterArts, I'm like, what are the chances they send me a real one on accident? And of course here, they did not send me a real one. This is the bootleg Skar King. I ordered it without a box, but it still came with the box, so that's pretty cool. Putting this aside, here is what you get inside of the packaging. This is our bootleg Skar King figure. As you can see, a bunch of hands are already falling out. But you do get everything that the original figure came with, so let's take a closer look. And here's everything you get outside of the box. First, I want to take a look at the Kong Beast Glove. Here is the Beast Glove that is included. Obviously, this was included with the official figure as an incentive to buy the Skar King, so you could have your Beast Glove Kong. And I don't think it looks too bad here. Some of the paint on the underside is not great. But on the top, that does look pretty clean, the sculpt and the mechanical bits. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It does like to pop out a little bit here with some of the moving parts, so you don't get the best articulation, but it doesn't look too bad. And it's also kind of cast in that lighter gray that the GXK Kong it comes in. So that is pretty cool, and you get a few different hand options. You got the reaching hand like he's coming out of the portal, and then you've got a grabbing hand, so that is pretty cool. I don't have a good SH MonsterArts Kong right now that I can just pop this onto, but I have seen that it does work for other people. I forgot to mention that included with that you do get the little tool to swap those arms out on your Kong. And now here is the Skar King figure. You've got a variety of hands here. You've got your open hands, you've got some fists, you've got some knuckle walking hands. And then, of course, the hands that come on Skar King are the open holding hands. You've got some interesting heads. This is the screaming or the roaring head. I don't know why it's so wide. Look at this. It's like insanely wide. This needs to be squished down a little bit. The teeth are not good. The eyes, one of them is completely blind and the other one's looking down into the corner. So that is atrocious. And you can see that's where the eyes go in and that's where the mouth goes in. So this is a really bad head. Then the head that comes on the figure is no better. You can see the eyes are just these black dots that are looking down into the corner. And yeah, it's also really thin. It was already tearing a little bit when I moved it up. So these heads are not great, and I will be getting a replacement head. In addition to those accessories, of course, Skar King has to have his whip slash. This looks pretty cool. I'm not going to lie, it does. It's pretty long. It's quite longer than I thought. I know the official one has a translucent crystal. This one has a metallic, but it still looks good. There's some lighter dry brushing on the actual spines, which look good. The jawbone here at the end doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty nice. And it has a nice bendy wire in it. You can actually see the bendy wire kind of poking through there. See those metallic bits? That does worry me a little bit, but it does have a nice bend to it, and it does keep a pose. So that is very cool. Moving these all aside for the moment, here is your bootleg SH MonsterArts Skar King. Overall, a solid bootleg. Unlike the -1 charging version, which was just absolutely trash, this one is somewhat salvageable for a bootleg. There were a few joints that were kind of loose over here in the legs. I did already tighten them up a little bit with a little bit of super glue, and also the legs weren't moving in very much. They were like kind of stuck out, so I shaved away a little bit in there so he could actually close his legs a little bit better and stand a little bit more naturally. I usually would not do that to an official figure, but for a bootleg, I am okay with doing that. But overall, he feels substantial. The plastic quality is not too bad. It's a little bit thin in some places, and there are some signs of stress if you push it too far, but he overall feels pretty okay. The one part that really does annoy me is this whole hair situation up here. It's 3 separate pieces: the head, the top, and the back. And with this bootleg, I mean, this barely stays on at all times. I mean, this is just, I don't even know why they designed it like this, but for the bootleg, it's even worse because these joints tolerances are much, much weaker. But you can kind of see the stressing in the plastic right there. I'm just going to put this to the side for the moment because it's going to drive me insane. But you can see how that engineering works. And you can't even see it from the front, so why have it there? You've got some of that gray airbrushing to show his skin. You've got just the base plastic. That's really the only colors that are going on here. You don't really have any kind of variation in the paint there. So pretty bare bones, but that could be painted. For me personally, I think it looks okay on the shelf. Once again, that head is very, very bad. Wow. But I cannot wait to put a nice Kujira Designs head on there. Articulation on this guy is, I'm sure, like what the original is, but just a little bit worse. So, you know, you did have that whole head situation, but without the neck, without the hairpiece, you can look up some, you can look down, and sometimes it'll fall off. You do have some movement in the shoulders, and there's that butterfly that kind of works. You have actually better elbow movement, I think, than the original because of the gummier plastic, so that's interesting. You do have your ball joints in here. Yeah, you can kind of get everything to work once you move it around. The torso here is a little bit loose, but you can still crunch and go back. Like I said, I modded the hips here a little bit, but some good movement and some good knee. I do really like this foot joint, so that's cool. That is really nice. And yeah, overall, not a bad looking figure at all. And it does hold up pretty well. Nothing popping off except for this darn hairpiece. So, which you can just pop back in there, but that will come out very soon. But besides that little bit, this is not nearly as offensive as that bootleg -1 charging figure. Now, he's a little bit top heavy because of this kind of dense plastic that they use, but you can still get him to stand not too bad. Taking out the tape measure, he still does retain some of that height that the original figure had. So he is a little over 6 inches. He is still bigger than a lot of Kong figures, which is not right for the character as we see in the movie, but it is what it is. And here he is alongside his Playmates counterpart. This is why I wanted the bootleg. I don't like Skar King nearly enough to get the official SH MonsterArts, but I can get a bootleg like this for 23 bucks and replace the toy looking version on my shelf. So that's okay with me. And here is the bootleg Skar King riding the Hayashimo. I think that looks pretty darn cool. And in case you were wondering, yes, you can wrap his whip around him, and it doesn't look too bad. And there you go, guys. There was a look at the SH MonsterArts bootleg Skar King action figure. This figure is not too bad at all. I paid about $23 for it. Now with tariffs and everything, it's around $45. I would not pay that. If for whatever reason they go back down to $23, yeah, I don't think it's too bad. For me personally, that was the perfect price to pay for a Skar King that's just gonna stand in my collection and be something that's a little bit better than the Playmates. I'm gonna add a better head to this figure. You know, if you have the head in kind of a shadow like I do here, it doesn't look half bad. But then once you look at it in the light, wow, yeah. But overall, I do like this figure, and if the price does go back down and you don't want to pay full price for a Tamashii Nation's official figure, maybe check this guy out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!